What's the Yozma IN10 got compared to the RTR? So what we have here is the Yozma IN10. So as you guys know, this emoto world is really taking off, right? There's new companies left and right coming out with new e-bikes at much more affordable prices. This bike is coming in at 1,300 bucks. It's got a 48 volt battery, plenty more specs to go over. So let's open it up, see what we got, and get it together. Looking good. The rear shock is already mounted on the top point, which is nice. That's always the harder one to get to. We're just gonna have to lift it up, put it right onto the swing arm. The riser's on, the handlebars on, right peg on. It comes with the left peg already assembled, which is nice, I guess just for shipping. Put the front wheel on and the front fender. Then obviously all the controls on handlebars. I've really learned a lot of these bikes don't really come pre-greased. And we all get excited, right? You just want to throw it together and go ride it. Well, you kind of end up paying for that later. So just take the extra time and grease it now. I was just looking at these brakes and they're just kind of like a generic dirt bike brake. But to be fair, most of these bikes come with is like a hydraulic mountain bike style brake, which isn't really the strongest pistons, but this brake right here actually looks very similar to the upgraded brakes I put on one of my super fast e-bikes. So that's pretty interesting to see like how much power this brake is gonna have. So the seat and the battery cover are actually all connected. I'm not that knowledgeable, like upgrading controllers and a lot of these lower priced stock bikes, I'm noticing there's a little delay on the throttle or there's a little delay on the chop off throttle. So say Wheelie's prime example. If you're out riding, you don't really notice those delays too much. But if you're a wheelie guy and you like playing in your neighborhood or just out in the street doing wheelies, the throttle response is super important. So if there's like a little delay or a little delay on the off, even more importantly, when you go to hit the throttle to do a wheelie, you got to learn different timing. If you pull up immediately but there's a delay on the throttle, you're not going to get that really good pull up, right? Well, if you get it up in there and then there's a delay on the chop, so like, oh no, I went too high, so you chop the throttle, but if it goes a split second longer, you're gonna end up on your butt, right? From everything I've seen so far, I'm pretty confident it's gonna ride my track out back pretty well, but I really wanna see a bike that's out of the box that you could just wheelie really well. We'll find out shortly. Here it is, the Yozma IN10. It looks like a proper dirt bike, not some weird goosey hybrid of something, you know? It just looks like a little pit bike. It's sick. First impressions. It's got the thicker brake rotor, so you got a little stronger caliper. I'm assuming it's stronger. For anyone who's been in the emoto world for a little bit, these smaller mountain bike thin rotors tend to kind of bend and warp over time. I'm noticing the rear fender section, everything is nice and sealed off. It's really gonna limit the amount of dirt that actually goes into your shock and goes into the motor. So that's actually pretty nice to see. When everything's kind of sealed off, it's just less area for dirt to bind up in. I did not go with the headlight up front, but behind the number plate, there is two connections. There's one open port so you can plug the headlight right in. Flipping the bike around. Obviously chain drive, the fact that this is a 420 chain on a 420 sprocket is rad to see, because one of my other bikes has the 35 chain. I've had the chain actually fall off a few times. I do keep tension, but if you get a little slack in there, the chain is kind of known for falling off, which is a bit frustrating. So that's actually super cool to see someone really beefing up the chain and the sprocket combo. Getting a workout just taking this thing on and off. The cockpit does seem a little congested. You got this red button here for your headlight, which we obviously don't have on. We have our screen and everything is just really tight. I imagine a bigger and a little bit wider bar setup, even like another inch, would allow this to have a little better spacing. And that's purely me just nitpicking, you know? Now, we're gonna power it up, plug the bike. Power, we going. Oh, it's got the brake switch. I didn't even think about taking that off. They're claiming a 53-mile range on the battery. I can only imagine that's gonna be on the lowest setting, cruising around. They say a 28 to 40 mile an hour top speed. I'm 180 pounds. The bike's weight is 121 pounds. I honestly would have guessed lighter. All right, we know what it looks like. but does it perform? So stay tuned. We're gonna do a top speed test, a wheelie test, an actual overall performance test on my pit bike track and trail rides. And then lastly, we're gonna see how the battery life actually is on a hard day of riding. Stay tuned, and we're gonna get straight into it. It is officially test day on the Yozma IN10. We cut the brake cables, sorry, the brake cut off. As in, if you're on the throttle and you go to hit the brakes shut down the throttle, which is super common on every e-bike I've gotten. So we have actually 4 miles on the bike. I did rip it down the road just to make sure I worked out any kinks. We're gonna go straight to level 3. I have purposely not maxed it out yet because I want to experience full speed with you guys. We're gonna put on the GPS on my phone. That way you compare the miles per hour here and the miles per hour with the GPS. So let's go. Top speed test. You know, I will say, this bike being straight out of the box, it looks rad. I don't think there's any arguing that this is a very good looking stock bike. We got cool looking black and red graphics, which are my favorite colorway. The one thing I do wish, we have these little notch outs right here for when we lift the seat up, but there's nothing that just feels that like a good position to pick the bike up. Like this is fine, but there's nothing to hook. That might not matter to some guys, but if you know, you know. You wanna be able to pick the bike up, and normally that would be a handle. So anyway, we're 0, level 3, 1, 2, 3, go. So GPS tells us our top speed was 33, and what we see 39 over here. We can only assume GPS is pretty spot on, right? So I don't like to play favorites to any side. So we got 33, 39, let's just call it 35. We got our speed test. I'm thinking, let's just go do a wheelie test. You know, I'm actually pretty happy with these brakes so far. They just feel just a little more tough. I'm gonna get top speed by that next mailbox, and we're gonna lock up the brakes and see how far it kind of takes us to stop. Front and back brakes, full speed. We got about 100 feet right there from here. I felt like that was a pretty good stop. Now, let's see how this thing wheelies. In no way am I a good wheelie king.
My name is Gemini Wheelie King. I'm a 41-year-old wheelie master.
No way. This is first bike out of the box where it's felt good to wheelie. I got to feather the brakes are actually really touchy. There's a little delay in the throttle. Oh my gosh. This thing is actually solid. There's a little delay. Not so much when you hit it, when you're up in a wheelie, like you're feathering the brake, right? But then you're also feathering the throttle. I'm noticing a little delay when I'm off and back on the brakes. I gotta figure that balance out. You know, I don't really want to be in the street. I'm gonna go to a little safer spot than to be doing wheelies in the street. We'll be right back. I like this spot because we have these parking spots. They're a good marker. This is where I like to go practicing wheelies or whatever, because you got first goal, Mark 1 to Mark 2, then Mark 1 to Mark 3, Mark 1 to Mark 4. So kind of a good testing spot. For wheeling out of the box, out of 10 seconds of practicing, this bike is already a win. If you want to learn wheelies and you're looking for a cheap bike, this is very doable right out of the box. I haven't tested all these bikes out there, but for the ones I have tested, there's never been one that I could just figure out wheeling right out of the box. Either the controller timing is kind of off, or there's not enough power, the balance is all off, but this thing's pretty dialed. So wheelie number 1. Gotta get a little balance, a little better balance in there. We're getting there. Figuring out the timing of braking, and it's really easy to get it up, but then the chop, you balance, hit your brakes, it starts to drop, and there's just, it's not bad. It's not bad. We need to make a whole nother video on wheeling. If you guys want to see a how-to wheelie video and I walk you guys through all the steps, leave the comments below, let me know, because I really want to do a how-to wheelie video because I'm practicing it myself Yeah, you guys let me know. Here we go. The first one is always, there we go, there we go. All right, we're going all four this time. Ready? Up. Oh, we got it, we got it. Oh, just like that, 3 goes. We got it figured out. This bike is a fun little wheelie bike. Sick. All right, one more and we'll head back to the house and get to the real testing. Oh, let's go down the hill. Nice. Wheelie test, pass. 10 out, I'll give it 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10, we can't give it 10 out of 10 because there's always room for improvement. So we're gonna head back to the house. Hopefully my buddy's there, and then give it the proper motocross test. Oh, wait, hold on. That's better. All right, we'll do a quick little overview on the way home. Top speed test, I mean, 35 miles an hour we're averaging. That's kind of expected, so that wasn't super impressive, but it also wasn't disappointing, right? The wheelie test, I am very impressed. This bike feels solid on the wheelie. I am noticing like my steering, almost like the front end is a little raked out, almost like I'm sitting back into it, as if the front end's high and the back end's low. I don't know if my weight on it right now has it sitting kind of low and feeling like that. Maybe I need to stiffen up the rear, or it's just got a big rake on the front end. I don't know. I feel like I'm squatting on the back quite a bit. Does it look like it? Maybe that's why it's feeling kind of raked out a bit. So if you want to get to the shock, there's a little air valve right there. I think if we stiffen that up a bit, we went to 250. Let's go to 300. I don't think that really feels any different. Whatever. So we got Greg on the 72 volt RTR. I'm thinking we just rip the track. I want to see if this bike can jump everything back there. Maybe we'll just go explore, because I want to try to run this battery all the way down. The bike doesn't have too much like punch right off the start, but again, we know what to expect with a 48 volt. Once you get it going, we're pretty solid. Up here, our first wood jump. I'm feeling pretty confident with that already. We'll keep going. We're gonna hit the long and low. We'll see this one. This is kind of, oh. This is a new section we just opened up. We got a little burn jump here. We got a new little jump here, very little. I gotta stack some big jump. We're going straight to it. No problem, no problem. Definitely noticing some rattle. Oh, this is a new section for the guys who've seen it. New section here too, cut back in the trees. Got a little cleanup to do here. So as we go through the trees here, you'll notice we're out through the double. Oh, I don't feel good about that. I wasn't feeling too confident about that pull up the hill, but also didn't set up right. But guys, I'm not disappointed. What was it, 1,300 bucks right out of the box? I definitely didn't think I would say it, but this is definitely the best bike so far that I've gotten right out of the box. The best for the lower price range of bikes, right? Like obviously you can get more expensive stuff. Pull. Dang. Let me go see if I can hit the wooden jump. I'm just gonna get it out of the way. I'm feeling pretty confident. There's not much punch out of the turn, but if we can hold speed, I think we're gonna be good here. There we go. Not bad. Let's just rip some laps and see how I can keep up following you. What's the Yozma IN10 got compared to the RTR? Oh, he's definitely got a little more pull out of turns, but as long as I hold my speed, I don't think he'll pull away. Oh, he's definitely pulling away from me there. He's gonna get me on this back straight. I know a shortcut line. All right, uphill against the RTR. Oh, he's pulling. We're dragging a little bit. Come on. Oh, I almost caught that tree. I'm definitely noticing more rattle now that I'm not in the street. I noticed when I had the battery out the last time that it doesn't have a tight fit. It's got a tight fit, but it's got little side to side movement. Just throw some little rubber shims in there and tighten it up, I'm sure. The Yosma's holding its own, people. I would definitely want my own like setup on this bike, like handlebar, mainly just handlebars. I feel narrow.
Yeah, they are.
Like I feel like a wider handlebar wouldn't have to, wider handlebars and a better rear shock. The front is soft, but if I just had a shock that was a little more tunable, even to match that up, but back to it. Yeah, as long as I can get him in a section where his bike can't just open up, the Yosma stays with it. Obviously we got a bit of a skill level difference too, but you know, if you were out with just you and your boys, I mean, for half the price, you got a pretty solid bike. I can only imagine there's gonna be people coming out with power upgrades for this thing. See if we can get it out of this turn. This is always a struggle. This is a good test. Oh, I can't do that one. I'm gonna see if I can get that double out of the turn. That turn here to that double is like kind of the good tester because it's a really flat turn, a little off camber, uphill climb. So these bikes that don't have a lot of power really kind of struggle through this straightaway. But I think just with a good run, this bike won't have a problem. We're gonna swing it wide. Yeah, I feel good. Yeah, we're chilling. Not bad, not bad. Where'd he go? Whoa! All right, you got the crash out of the way. Let's send the jump. Like a pro. Not bad for a cop, huh? I just noticed we're down our first bar. So 8 miles, down 1 bar. I will say, these trail rides are a lot bumpier than normal on this bike, but we have suspension on a lower price stock bike, so we can't really complain about that, right? All right, so during climbs, I'm seeing it go from 2 to 3 bars. So I'm thinking we're coming up on 50% battery maybe. Now, keep in mind, we're 11 miles into this ride, but I've been in the fastest setting and I've been trying to hammer it wide open the whole time. We're 2 bars down and we still have wheelie power. All right, here they go. Whoo! I'm glad it cased that and brought the front end back down. I wonder if this bike can jump the BMX jumps.
What was the top speed on it?
Well, top speed's not really the issue. 35, I mean, 35 miles an hour, you can hit some pretty big jumps, but nothing here. It's more about having that throttle off the bottom. We go height up. Jumping these would be cool. These are actually pretty much the same size, but see how much of a tag pad here? So you land like way down here, but you have 10 feet of safety case. But over here, this jump is 26 feet from face to land. All right, I'm gonna hit it. Oh, we're chilling. Oh, that's too easy. I'm more worried about going too fast and going deep. My style was a little off, so we gotta redo that. I thought my battery died. My SD card is full. We're going all camera. Let's send it again. enough to climb that hill very good now. No percentage, just we know we're 13 miles in. I have an app still going too. We've been going for 2 hours and 40 minutes since we started all this. So some people might not think 13 miles is very long, but we've had a solid riding session so far.
It wasn't an easy 13 miles.
No. We're gonna keep riding and I'm gonna run it until it goes down and we'll check back in with you guys at the shop. All right, final thoughts on the Yozma IN10. So we got it nice and cleaned up, looking brand new. Things I would change about this bike. Right out of the box, I think it performs, or it did perform better than any bike that I've actually had to this point. That's around this price range straight out of the box. If I were to keep it like this and make it a little more rider friendly for myself, I think I would put on a set of wider handlebars. I wouldn't even really go taller. I like the height of these bars. And then the rear shock. I definitely felt like I'm kind of sitting in the back a bit. Maybe with a lighter rider, that's not really gonna be an issue. And again, it's not even an issue. It's just where I felt the steering and it's just me being picky, right? So this seat is actually very comfy. It's a little wider, so us adults that are on these bikes, it just kind of, it fits your butt a little better. To sum it up, I really like this bike, especially for a younger rider or someone that's just learning that you don't need all the speed that's actually available for these bikes. Being out in the woods, riding around, there's plenty of speed. We can always want more, right? But I have faster bikes for that. But I'm pretty confident this bike is gonna be a good platform for upgrades in the future, and I think you're gonna start seeing this bike a lot more. And the fact that it performs right out of the box without having to dump a bunch more money into it to get all these upgrades, I'm pretty happy with. The biggest thing was the wheelies. Being able to control the throttle a little better than some other ones I've played with in the past was huge for me because, I mean, that's what these bikes are for, right? Just going and having fun, whether you're in your backyard or in your driveway, and we all want to learn wheelies, right? So it definitely gets 2 thumbs up for that. If you want to know any more about this bike, I highly recommend checking out Voltron Watts' YouTube channel. He has a great inside view on this bike from a different angle from me. Definitely coming more from the neighborhood dad. So check out his channel. His video even taught me more stuff that I didn't even look at. So all the details about this bike are below, all the links you might need to order and find out more information. So, as always, thanks for watching. I got more bikes to go ride, so we'll see you in the next one. Peace.